Golf is a hard enough sport when it's sunny and 75. So what grinds my gears is having to sound like get off my lawn guy all the time. Is it just me? Maybe I'm the idiot. Please let me know. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a Thursday edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. We got you for the next 25 or 30 minutes, and we are talking the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Last night, the New York Knicks completed a 29-point comeback on the San Antonio Spurs in Game 4 of the NBA Finals to take a 3-1 series lead and give us the first victory we have watched in Madison Square Garden in the NBA Finals since 1999. We will break it down. We will show you OG Anunoby's big-time tip-in to give the Knicks the lead with 1.2 seconds remaining and more. Also, we will preview Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals coming tonight. Carolina versus Las Vegas. That is a 2-2 series tie right now. Game 5 in Carolina tonight. Before we do any of it, we give you the pleasantries. YouTube.com/the Romanellas. That's YouTube.com/the Romanellas. Head to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, people, and help support the show. Twitter, X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1. By the way, in the top of the corner, top right corner of your screen, there you go, English, Andrew, there is a QR code that can bring you directly to YouTube.com. I am repping a big-time show supporter today. The shirt that I have on, it's called Hyper. We will get to it prior to the commercial break, but I am normally a hoodie and a headband guy when it comes to the Rome Show. But today, thanks to my guy TJ Werner at Hyper, okay, he threw me a t-shirt as Hyper gets ready to release its pre-workout line. Sorry, words are hard this morning. And a clean way to get yourself ready for the gym or for your physical activity. So Hyper, follow them on social media and make sure you are prepared for their drop coming in just a few weeks. We'll talk more about it as the show goes on. Here's what it looks like. Shot, three-pointer, Jalen Brunson missed. OG Anunoby for the win.
For Jalen Brunson, allow him to operate at the top, 101. Brunson gets it, fires up a three. Shot no good, the chip is gone! It's gone! It's gone! With 1.2 remaining, Knicks take the lead. OG Anunoby, and it's 107-106. Bedlam here at the Garden. They can't believe it. Brunson's shot looked good and just came up short.
Now there's still 1.2 seconds left.
You're going to end up with 2 on the ball here on Brunson. And OG Anunoby, the inbounder, is going to have a free run at this because there's 2 on the ball. He's the one that inbounded. Nobody guarded him, and he went right to the rim. Perfect timing. But now the Spurs have a chance. 1.2, plenty of time to catch, get off a shot.
And that chance from the Spurs went right by the wayside thanks to fantastic defense from Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart. Karl Anthony Towns got his hand on the inbound pass, and I think it was Kessel that was trying to get the ball up. Josh Hart went straight up, as every fundamental basketball coach has told you since the beginning of time. Blocks the basketball. Knicks win 3-1 series lead, and it cannot be stressed how poor the New York Knicks played in the first half of this game, to the point where about halfway through the second quarter, I thought to myself, man, I don't even know if I want to watch this. Okay, it was just bad. And I sent this as a tweet, the Rome Show 1 on Twitter X, if you want to check it out. I said, wow, the officials are bad, because the officials were bad. But the Knicks were worse in the first half. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns had 2 fouls before we could think. Now, don't get me wrong. The foul that they reviewed, where they said that he hooked Victor Wembanyama over the other way around, in my opinion, is asinine. I truly, after game 3, understood what everyone was talking about the officials. But after the first 15 to 20 minutes of this game yesterday, I actually started to believe, just like everybody else, that the officials in this NBA Finals are atrocious. I mean, atrocious. And it's like pretty obvious stuff, okay? My easiest example is Jalen Brunson carrying the ball up the floor. It's like he's getting swarmed by flies. Wow, there's our dinner. Let's go get it. Hand check, body check, hand check, right? And you know, it's funny because we've all been calling for one of the Knicks or the Knicks to start playing a little bit more physical, make Victor Wembanyama feel it. Well, 2 things. First, in the second half, they did. I thought that was the best part, the biggest part of the turnaround for the Knicks, is anyone that came into that lane in the second half last night felt it. The amount of bodies you'd see on the floor, the amount of contact that would be there. The Knicks finally woke up in the second half yesterday and said, okay, if we're going to play this late 90s, early 2000s style of basketball, and the officials are going to let this happen, we got to get in on this. I need to see more bodies on the floor. Okay. And I think it started in the second quarter when Mitchell Robinson ran down the floor and just trucked Victor Wembanyama. And Wemby's like, he's pointing at his head. Oh, I'm in your head, right? Okay. Well, that was the turn. And then another one that I really liked was Pedro Alvarez. Okay. Excuse me. Jorge Alvarado. Well, that's awesome. Again, English is hard today. Alvarado gets caught with Wemby down low, okay? And Cat should have switched on him. He didn't switch on him. It is whatever. And you watch this clip of Alvarado just battling, 2 feet smaller than this guy, battling back. But to the point where the foul gets called on Alvarado, but he puts him on the ground, okay? That's the type of shit that people have been talking about. You need to be physical and uncomfortable. He was finally, again, first time since game 2, last night in the second half, Victor Wembanyama was uncomfortable. The San Antonio Spurs were uncomfortable. I mean, hell, De'Aaron Fox dribbled a ball off of his foot out of bounds. That's how uncomfortable the Knicks made the Spurs in the second half. And this is a tale of 2 different conversations, okay? Conversation 1 is the New York Knicks, their resiliency, and their ability to find a way. I mean, just remember, people, in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, they came back in the second half from being down 22 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. In all 4 games of this NBA Finals, at the end of the first quarter, the Knicks have found themselves down by 8 or more points. Game number 1, down by 8. Game number 2, after the first quarter, down by 9. Game number 3, after the first quarter, down by 11. And game number 4, after the first quarter, down by 19. In the first quarter of the NBA Finals to date, the New York Knicks are being outscored by 47 points. 47. That's ridiculous. They will end the quarter, Q1 that is. They will end Q1 generally down by 11 to 13 points in all 4 games and on average in this NBA Finals. If I came to you today and said, all right, guys, here's the New York Knicks have not won a first quarter in the NBA Finals, okay? They have not lost a first quarter by less than 8 points the entirety of this NBA Finals, and the average that they are down by coming out the first quarter is roughly 12 to 13 points. We're headed into Game 5. What do you think the series is at right now? I got to imagine every single person, if I gave you just those statistics, and how about this? I'll give you another statistic. San Antonio's held at 2 20-point leads in this series and lost those games. If I gave you all of that information and I said, we're headed back to San Antonio, what's the series record at? You'd say, oh, it's over. Or San Antonio's up 3-1, looking to close it out in Game 5. The fact that I can tell you those two statistics, okay? The fact that a team could be down multiple times, not in a game, not just in one series, but in the entirety of the playoffs, multiple times by 20 or more points and come back to win those games is some of the most impressive basketball team resilience I have ever seen. And it is true. They were playing against the Spurs and the officials in half number 1 yesterday. We're not even going to go back into Game 3. Mike Brown said everything he needed to say, but that's the truth. I was the most impressed by them winning that game yesterday because not only were they so bad in the first half, but the officials were atrocious. I mean, atrocious. Okay, in the first half, and the Knicks still found a way. On the Spurs side, I cannot imagine you're ready to win a championship if you're blowing 20-point leads in the NBA Finals. Here's the stupidity. And if you watch the post game inside the NBA, Chuck went off on this. All right. 76% was the shooting percentage for the San Antonio Spurs in half number 1. And a lot of that was threes. They made a lot of threes in the first half. Well, in half number 2, the San Antonio Spurs shot 21%. You heard that correctly. The San Antonio Spurs shot 21% from the field. But here's the kicker. They only made 3 3-point attempts of the 17 they chucked up. At one point in time, with a double-digit lead of beyond 15 points, the Spurs shot 8 3-pointers in a row in the second half. I'm sorry, but you are not ready to win championships, let alone a championship, if you can't hold on to 1 20-point lead, let alone 2. You're not ready to win a championship if you can't shape-shift your team to the moment so that you can find a way. You lost the lead in game number 1. You should have never lost. How does that happen again in game number 4? And furthermore, how does it happen the exact same way? It literally looked the exact same. All of a sudden, De'Aaron Fox couldn't handle the basketball. Harper and Kessel went nowhere. Wemby started to look uncomfortable and flustered, and that was it. It looked exactly the same. It didn't feel like there was any adjustment. That's on the coaching staff for the San Antonio Spurs. And for as much as we got excited about this team, as people love to say in sports, quote unquote, arriving early, okay, because again, this is their first playoff berth in the Wembanyama era, is as much as you remember why that's even a thing. And why coming into this finals, everyone was talking about, though they're quote unquote the better team in San Antonio, the New York Knicks have the advantage because all of the players on the Knicks have been in the postseason. A lot of the role and main players of the Knicks have lost together already in a Knicks uniform. More specifically, last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay. But it cannot be stated how important the trade for OG Anunoby has been for this New York Knicks team. Of course, this is a roster that you have shapeshifted to get to this point. But the addition of OG Anunoby, I think, has truly, over the last 2.5 to 3 years, been the difference maker for this Knicks team. If you remove OG, and I'm not just saying that because he hit the game winner last night, because by the way, he also had a playoff career high in 32 points, all right? But I'm saying that because throughout this entire playoff run, every single post-game breakdown has something to do with OG Anunoby, including, but not limited to, when he couldn't play and the importance of not having him in the lineup. But when you really look back at the development and the build of this team to get to the point where they are competing and one win away from a championship, that's a great addition. And when you let go of DiVincenzo and you let go of RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly over that course of a year, Knicks fans were like, wow, there's our identity. And in theory, at the time, it was your identity. But what the front office was doing, which was exactly the right play, was shape-shifting that identity. Okay, this is good. This will be better. If this we like, we're going to love this. And it's tough. Because when sports teams and organizations are being built, it's time. It takes time. And generally in New York, you don't have time. But because Jalen Brunson has captained this team since he's been traded from Dallas, and because that aura continued to be built with Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson, that when you add a Karl Anthony Towns and you add an OG Anunoby and an Alvarez and whoever else is a key role piece for this team, the culture has already been built. And that was the first time that had existed in 25 years. So though 2-3 years ago, it was Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, that was the 1-2 punch for this team. And no one really believed that was championship caliber. Those years were gigantic because it allowed Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and then eventually bringing Mikal Bridges over to establish what the identity of this organization was, what this locker room was going to be all about. And now I'll call it 4 years later, especially since Jalen's been here, it has paid dividends for the New York Knicks. Finally, here is some of the record-breaking-ish the Knicks did last night in game number 4. As we mentioned, they trailed by 29 points. That's the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. That's the second 20-plus point comeback in NBA Finals history. The last one happened nearly 20 years ago in 2008. It was the Celtics. They came back from 24 down. That's also the largest halftime comeback in playoff history. I mean, I can't even explain it, people. Like at halftime yesterday, I was like dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it. In my opinion, felt as if I was watching a more extreme version of Game 3 all over again. It was almost like, is this a sick joke? What did I just watch? That's how it felt at the end of the first half. Well, didn't matter because they complete the largest halftime comeback in playoff history. Finally, second finals in NBA history with multiple games decided by 1 point. Yesterday, it was 107-106 decided by 1 point. On Friday, it was 105-104 decided by 1 point, okay? And then game 1 was a 10-point win by the Knicks. And game number 3 was a 4-point win by San Antonio. My quick math tells me that these games, okay, have been decided by a combined 16 points, okay? Which law of averages tells you that would be an average of 4-point margin per game in the NBA Finals. I said this to somebody yesterday, and I'm going to say it to you, the people, all right? YouTube.com/the Romanellas, Twitter, X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1. If you want to comment live and get in on the action. You are so lucky right now as a sports fan, okay? Because not only is the NBA Finals, which we just discussed. So freaking good right now. Okay? So freaking good. This is the best NBA Finals I have seen or I can remember from my own personal feels in a long time. And I'm sitting here telling you that the referees stink, and I'm sitting here telling you that there's certain things I don't like, but nonetheless, this has been one of the most entertaining and fun, controversial, discussed, clickbait, whatever it is, finals I feel like I've seen in my lifetime, and I'm freaking loving it. And then on top of that, the New York Knicks and what they're doing and the excitement in New York. But what we have in the National Hockey League right now as well, what's going on in the Stanley Cup Finals, they're headed into Game 5 tonight, and 3 of their first 4 games ended within 1 goal, and we saw 2 overtimes in that series already. This could be, at least in my 35 years of living on this earth, the best finals June I have ever been a part of. And I also date that back to the College World Series road to Omaha. Because as I've mentioned on this show, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, that postseason's been electric. Okay? And that gets started this weekend. It has been the last 2.5 weeks. I feel like it's every day. My head's like a pinball machine. Like, wow, watch this highlight. Watch that highlight. Wow, can you believe they won this game? Wow, can you believe they lost that game? It is awesome. Right now, June 11th, 2026, it is an elite time to be a sports fan. Meg wrote in, oh yeah, Meg, adulting is super hard today. I turned off the Knicks game so I didn't see it, but go Knicks, even though I'm not an NBA fan. I feel like that is the common feel for a lot of people right now. Hey, listen, you might not be an NBA fan, but you can get on board with watching this Knicks team and enjoying everything that's going on around the New York Knickerbockers. Hey, by the way, you might be sitting here wondering, hey, Andrew, generally, when you do a Rome show, you're wearing a hoodie and you're wearing your normal headband, and you would be correct about that. Today, though, I am wearing a special shirt thanks to one of my former players, TJ Warner. Him and his buddy are starting a company. It is called Hyper. Okay, you can follow them on social media at Try Hyper. That's HYPR. Hyper is going to be a product that is built for the college athlete. 800 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 800 milligrams of magnesium, 5 grams of creatine, and 5 grams of collagen. They are at Hyper building the best supplement for baseball players and athletes. Make sure you follow Try Hyper, okay, as they're going to be releasing all of their performance and recovery drinks very, very soon. Do not miss out on what is going to be fire. Thank you to TJ. Thank you to the Try Hyper team. The Rome Show officially just gave you a follow while promoting the brand. We'll be back after this commercial break. Stay with us on the Rome Show.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Yeah, welcome back in. The Rome Show on a Thursday. Andrew Romanella, 6:11 is the date. 7:46 is the time. State of New Jersey is where we broadcast. I'm Andrew Romanella. It's the Rome Show. YouTube.com/The Romanellas. Twitter, X, Instagram. The Rome Show 1. So many ways to follow. First half of the show, we broke down the historic 29-point comeback from the New York Knicks last night in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. If you missed any of it, head to the Rome Show podcast wherever you listen to podcast. Tonight, we have game number 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and we here on the Rome Show want to give you a quick preview of what to expect in this game tonight. First and foremost, the Carolina Hurricanes are the home team, and the Carolina Hurricanes are favored. They are minus 160, okay? Favorite in this game. You can get Vegas at plus 136. This game will be played at 8 o'clock tonight, and there are a few keys here. First and foremost, okay, in game number 3, Brandon Bussey took over for Frederik Andersen, and in game number 4, he came out and got the victory, gave up 3 goals on 21 shots, played some really good puck, okay? You're now series tied 2-2, headed back to Carolina. Can Bussey continue to play great hockey? You cannot win a championship without great goaltending, okay? And the Carolina Hurricanes had to make a tough decision halfway through the Stanley Cup Finals, and it paid off for Rob Brendamore. So a number 1 key for this game and any game moving forward is the goaltending on the Carolina side, because Carter Hart has played to the tune of a 2.4 goals against average throughout this postseason. It's a tale of two offenses. 20 games have been played by the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and 10 times the Vegas Golden Knights have scored 4 or more goals. 15 times the Vegas Golden Knights have scored 3 or more goals. There are 3 different players with 10 or more goals on the Vegas Golden Knights roster right now, led by the Stanley Cup playoff leading goal scorer Brett Howden, who has 14, then Mitch Marner with 10, and Pavel Dorofeyev with 10. Those 3 have found themselves to be everywhere and anywhere they want throughout not just this Stanley Cup Finals, but the postseason. Can you have a game, if you're Carolina, where you look back at the stat sheet and you're like, wow, Howden didn't have a point. Wow, Marner didn't have a point. Wow, Dorofeyev didn't have a point. It's hard because then you've already forgotten about guys like Jack Eichel and others that are like, oh my God, he's also on the roster? Yeah. It's a powerful offense, and that's why I talk so much about the defense and the goaltending on Carolina's side, because that is such a key. 20 games, 10 times, 4 or more goals. Defense is the key for Carolina, because on the flip of that, only 8 times in 17 games have the Carolina Hurricanes this postseason scored 4 or more goals. And here's the kicker on that, okay? They've played 4 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they've scored 4 or more goals in all 4 games, okay? So in the previous 13 games, Carolina only scored 4 or more goals 4 times, okay? So they are playing their best offensive hockey right now. However, as we mentioned yesterday, the first period's been a crapshoot, up for grabs. 5-3, Vegas leads the first period scoring. But period 2, Vegas leads 9-1. Carolina leads 5-3 first period scoring. Vegas leads 9-1 in the second, and Carolina wins 10-3 in the third. So to finish, tonight I am looking for the first 20 minutes, because this series has proven to us that the first 20 minutes could go either way. And then the second 20 minutes is going to Vegas, and the third 20 minutes is going to Carolina. So for me, the biggest key is period number 1. Of course, what is the goaltending? What is the defense? Okay. What is that look like for Carolina? That will be the difference maker. I'm taking the favorite at home tonight, and I still believe if the puck line sits at 5.5, take the over. I don't believe we get an under on the puck line until win or go home, game 6 or game 7. Derpy writes in, all I can say is this: if the Knicks win it all, FIFA better let USA win it all in the World Cup after this scripted bullcrap I just watched last night. I could care less who wins the cup and finals after the bowl last night. Well, I don't believe, Derps, that the cup should be brought into play here. I don't think there's any integrity issues with the National Hockey League. That's for damn sure. And I don't disagree. I was reading a lot of NBA fans last night that were like, I'm done. I don't want to watch this anymore. And I don't disagree with you. The only reason why I feel like I'm caught in the middle of, man, I really do feel like the officials are told to call it one way, and then, man, I really don't, is because if the NBA wanted it to be that way, San Antonio would have won that game last night by 30 running away, and we'd be series tied 2-2 heading back to San Antonio. Derps, I agree with you, bro. There's something, a lot's got to be cleaned up in the National Basketball Association. That's for dang sure. However, okay, when it comes to the National Hockey League, I feel like they are at the forefront for how leagues should do things. Not saying they get everything right. I mean, think about it. Vegas has had 3 goals called back in this series alone. In the second period of Game 3, Vegas scored 6 goals, but 2 of them got called back. So it is weird. It's a weird time. Though these series are good, Derps, you do bring up a good point, you know? You do bring up a good point. The cup has been good. I was just aggravated when I watched last night. Yo, Derp, man, I couldn't agree with you more. I almost turned the microphone on, Derpy, last night after the game and just sat here with my jaw on the floor. I literally could not believe what I witnessed last night. And I enjoyed it because I wanted the Knicks to win, but like, what the... And the range of emotions. Oh, my God. These refs suck. Oh, my God. What are the Knicks doing? Holy crap. Are the Spurs really doing that? It's wild. You know? It's wild. And eventually, the NBA is going to really have to address this officiating thing, or they're not. Okay? But you don't want that to take away from a good series between the players on the floor. Derpy, I really appreciate you writing in, my guy. Thank you. It's 2 shows I've seen you this week, and it really means a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm going to hit the golf course. You know the deal. Andrew, summertime golf course. It happens almost every other day. Head to youtube.com/the Romanellas. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the social media. Try Hyper. That's HYPR. Try Hyper and get yourself ready as you get your fitness journey cooking. It's going to be the cleanest pre-workout out there. I can promise you that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Meg. Thanks to everybody that wrote in. As always, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Peace.
Thank you for listening.